Greetings YouTube! These are the worst games of 2018.
I warned you.
First off, the games that are going to be on my worst of list are the games that I have personally played. That is to say, I've done a review of them or I've done a Let's Look video of them. So for example, I am well aware that everyone thinks that Fallout 76 is shit, but I haven't played it, so I don't know that for a fact. Not myself. So in all fairness, I'm not going to include it on the list. I suppose I can give it right here and now an honourable mention. Honourable mention, go ahead. You can have one. Fallout 76, congratulations. You don't make the list, but you're still a pile of crap, according to everybody else. Anyway, let's go on with my personal worst of list. First up, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It's your typical open world Ubisoft game at this point. We all know what they look like by now. I'll be honest though, Far Cry 5 suckered me in with its crazy characters and wild storyline. This doesn't really bother with that. I can only remember two of the characters' names. Cassandra, because she's the character I played as, and what's the historical guy's name? Oh yeah, Socrates, or Socrates, whatever. Those are the only two characters I can remember the names of. Everybody else, totally unmemorable. There's your microtransactions, of course. Jesus Christ, they like trying to sell you extra shit that you don't fucking need. And the combat isn't great either. I don't exactly miss the days when, for example, in Black Flag, you could assassinate and slaughter every single person around you with a single button press. But nowadays it's just clunky and awkward. I miss the good old days of the Renaissance trilogy. I just felt like this game didn't really have anything to hook me in. It was just your standard open world game. So I suppose in that respect it's not so much a bad game as more of a disappointment, but even so, didn't like it as much as I was hoping I might. Scuttlebutt is they're going to feudal Japan for the next game. I'm not holding my fucking breath though. That rumour has been circulating for years. Certainly I see no reason why they do it now, not when they can keep on stringing us along in the franchise for all eternity. Call of Duty Black Ops 4. If there's one franchise out there that's really getting old and tired, it's Call of Duty. Pretty much the same from every iteration to the other, kind of like an Ubisoft game. But for me, what really did my head in on this particular Call of Duty, it did away with the most exciting part of the game, the campaign. You know, that section of the game where they could go balls to the window, over the top, batshit insane with the action set pieces. People used to say, and I don't know if they still say this, that you come to Call of Duty for the campaign, you go to Battlefield for the multiplayer. Well, this Call of Duty had no campaign, so what was the point in this game exactly? Multiplayer, of course, is your standard fare. You have your zombies mode. And why did they drop the campaign? So they could chase a trend and put fucking Battle Royale in it. Just because Fortnite is a Battle Royale game and it is wildly successful doesn't mean you have to copy it. It's a sign that you're getting pretty damn desperate when you're copying someone else's game. I could at the very least respect the game for sticking to what it knows and doing it well, in fact. But damn. Battlefield 5. Like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, this is less worst of territory and more disappointment territory. There's been a massive push in recent years for developers and particularly publishers, of course, because they hold the purse strings, to move towards constantly online games as a service games. And make no mistake, these games are not a service to the players that are playing them. They're more like a service to the people who actually count in the publisher's eyes, the shareholders. Battlefield 5 effectively launched as a shell of a game, what other people might call a form of early access. Shell out for 50 quid up front, you get part of a game, and we get the rest spoon-fed to us, or drip-fed, depending on your preference, to us over the coming months. So you eventually get your 50 quid, if you can stick it for that fucking long. I wouldn't mind half as much, but the game keeps reminding you that there's more content coming. As if it's proud of the fact that it's stringing you along. What is here is good. It is. But there's not enough of it to justify 50 quid. Now, it's been widely reported at this point that Battlefield 5's physical sales are down 50%. But that's just physical. That might be because people are protesting against it. On the other hand, it might just be because loads of people are buying it digitally. There's no way of telling. But given the fact that the pre-order sales were also weak, it doesn't exactly bode well for the game. And you know what? I'm glad. I'm over the moon. Hopefully this'll send a strong message to other publishers trying to chase this games as a service. I don't even like to use the phrase. It's not a fucking service. Stop calling it a service. It isn't. I hope that other publishers take notice of this and pull back from this shit. The Quiet Man. Since everybody else on YouTube was making a video about how utter bollocks this game was, I thought I'd jump on the bandwagon and put myself through potential hell. I'll admit, I was thinking that maybe people might be exaggerating a little bit. Maybe. Hopefully. Yeah, no, they really weren't. This game is truly god-awful. I wouldn't mind, but it comes across as some sort of experiment into Hellblade territory. Except that they take all the game's audio away, but don't use it to the game's advantage. They don't create any interesting puzzles with it. It's just constant video clips with almost no audio and shitty gameplay fighting sections. That's all this game is. You know what? I don't even like to use the word game because it feels like it isn't. I feel like calling this game is a slap in the face to not only game players but every other game out there. It is dreadful. It's normally 12 quid from the PlayStation Store, by the way, and you'd probably do better to flush that money down the shitter. It's still not over. How can it not be over yet? Just end. End, you piece of shit. Seriously, I want it to end. I don't know why I'm laughing. I don't know why I'm laughing, I really don't. This game is actually making me have a breakdown. Oh God. How can it still be going? What are you still going for? Answer the fucker or turn it down, please. But that isn't the worst game of the year. It isn't. Because this is. Other people may have forgotten about this one because it released towards the beginning of this year. And it is very forgettable, so I forgive you if you've forgotten about it. But I haven't. I am of course referring to Metal Gear Survive. I will admit that Metal Gear Survive has solid controls and a solid interface. I mean, it's built off the back of Phantom Pain, which was of course created by Hideo Kojima. So naturally it's gonna look and feel good. That's where it ends though. It's purely a survival game, and you constantly have to chase the food and water gauges. You go into the fog, you have to chase the oxygen gauge. You start sprinting in the fog, you have to chase the fucking stamina gauge. It's a never-ending grind for resources, just to keep your character alive, let alone try to build anything. And by the way, you can't build any fucking thing you want because you need the blueprints. And that means to obtain the blueprints, of course, you have to grind against the slow-ass nature of the game. The Quiet Man, at the very least, ends completely after 2.5 hours of torture. This just keeps on going. The Quiet Man is only 12 quid normally. This is 30. Which again makes me think that this was an experiment by Konami to see if they could manage without Hideo Kojima at the helm. No, you fucking can't. And frankly, I don't know why. Because you'd think that something would have sunk into the company's memory after all those years. Because Metal Gear is an established franchise. Long established. With many great games to its name. Why? Why? You know what? I don't know why. I don't know why. This game shouldn't have even been attempted. It was originally designed to be an add-on for the Phantom Pain, but they separated it off and charged 30 quid for it because fucking of course they did. And then of course there's the microtransactions which charge you an extra 8 bastardized quid for a save slot, and an extra 8 bastardized quid for every one of those recon teams which gather resources for you in case you can't be bothered to do it yourself. I mean, whoa! If the Quiet Man was a slap in the face, then this is more like a catapult loaded with 2 tons of elephant shit, and it's been launched at your house, and any moment now it's going to connect, and you can see it connecting. Everybody could see what was going to happen, and I'll admit I was a teensy bit optimistic because I thought maybe if they make the game a celebration of Metal Gear, use the time-travelling portal bullshit to visit history, you know, from all aspects of Metal Gear, bring in different battlefields, have 4-player cooperative missions with 2 APCs, a tank versus a possessed Metal Gear, or just go fucking insane and just go all in with this. And they didn't fucking bother. It's just a survival game. It ain't worth the 30 quid or whatever the hell they're charging for it right now. It's an insult. It's an insult on every level. The Quiet Man is shorter and cheaper. I mean, arguably it was more torturous in a way because it was more compact. But once I finished it, it was over with, and I never have to play it again. Metal Gear Survive just kept on fucking going. The multiplayer I found a little bit more palatable, simply because there's 4 of you. So you can sort of spread the misery around. Plus, if you haven't got anything cool and awesome to fend off the zombie hordes, they might have. I saw other players dropping in things like AA guns. I never caught hide nor hair of an AA gun while I was playing. Fuck knows how they got it. But they did. Anyway. Worst of games. And in all honesty, I haven't played many bad games this year. I've played more great games this year. So it did feel to me like my worst of games list was a little bit Spartan. Fine by me. Less shit for me to go through. Anyway, do you think I missed off any games? Any, not bad games, but truly god-awful games? Do you think I missed off any? List them in the comments below. I'm interested. Obviously Fallout 76 I've already mentioned. Anything else though goes. What did you think of my video? Leave a like or dislike down below. Feel free to subscribe or share if you wish. Next is the best of 2018. I'm going to look forward to that video because I've got way more games to talk about there. See you next time.